We are talking to the amazing Simpson Protocol practitioners that have told their story and their client stories in this book, Simpson Protocol from the Inside. Case studies, insights, and observations from the people who use the SP process on a daily basis. And today we're talking to Christophe Dierckx. Yeah, comes out better. The Simpson Protocol trainer in Belgium, who has been personally responsible for the many changes in SP process and has created some would consider almost miraculous outcome for his clients. Hi, Christophe.
Hello there, and thank you for having me.
This is great. Now, Christophe, you didn't come from a therapy background. In hypnosis, you came to it in Simpson Protocol, and I said to you, you want to be a trainer? Can you tell me what you were thinking and what you were coming up to as a brand new SPer?
Well, originally I came from a financial background.
Yeah.
I started my career as a stockbroker, and afterwards I was working into risk management in the commodities industry. But I became ill, so I created sleep apnea. And because of that, I was looking for a solution because I knew somehow I was the creator of my own sleep apnea, but I wasn't able to find a solution. So in the beginning, I started with NLP and Ericksonian hypnosis and other forms of hypnosis. But it was only until I found the Simpson Protocol where I was able to release my own sleep apnea. And that was back in 2015, 14, 15, I think.
Yeah.
And that's when we met first. And then I switched jobs. So I said goodbye to my old familiar and safe position, also financially. And I had zero clients, and I said, okay, let's start my own practice, and which I have built from scratch. And I think in 2017 you asked me to start training the Simpson Protocol. And since then, my life has changed quite significantly.
Quite a lot.
Because you remember me as living in my head, and
Yeah.
I'm so rational. Nowadays, I'm a little bit more emotionally or spiritually involved, but yeah, at the time it was all new. It was a new concept for me and difficult to understand. Even now, until today, it's difficult to grasp the idea that yeah, we're spiritual beings living a human life.
So you studied widely on the uses of hypnosis in creating physical change. Would you like to share? Would you like to share a couple of those experiences?
Yeah, sure. Have to be careful because in Belgium it's not allowed to help people with
Yeah.
physical issues. But you know what? Does these stories don't need to be in Belgium. I also work in other countries or
Yeah.
online. I have a huge reputation nowadays in helping people with cancer. Um, it always struck me why the general opinion looks first outside to nutrition, to whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's always something outside of us, but I guess in 90% of the cases, it's all emotionally involved and induced. And yeah, it's really difficult to understand because it's so logical why people are always looking for a root cause outside of them and not inside. It's strange. And the things we can do with working with the superconscious mind and working with idiomotor, which is no more or no less as a yes and a no feedback loop. So from the moment you ask questions, you can communicate with this inner wisdom, and you can ask, hey, is it okay to solve it? And afterwards is the when the root cause is gone, is the body able to regenerate whatever is going on? And the answer most often is yes. So even if people have tissue damage because of chemo, because of radiation, because in most cases people they do the hypnosis, but they also do the other stuff. Um, and if the answer is yes, and we can regenerate an organ which is damaged or which is cut away, we have some formidable results. And also, besides cancer, there's some pretty amazing stuff going on where the body actually can regenerate organs, glands, which are cut away because there is a remembrance of cells.
Yeah.
And yeah, connecting to the superconscious mind, if you as a therapist can believe in your work and the client trusts you and you trust the process, magic happens.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that anything is like DNA. There is people say there is a certain percentage of junk DNA. I don't believe it.
No.
Mother Nature doesn't create junk. It all has purpose. But we just don't believe in our own capabilities to regenerate and to become healthy again. But the superconscious doesn't mind. And it goes way beyond the rational thinking. And if the client can allow the process and use the self-hypnosis by repetition, an organ can regrow. I've seen numerous possibilities. It's amazing.
Mhm.
But public opinion isn't open to the idea in most cases, and regular medicine says it's impossible, so you're an imposter. But I've seen it over and over and over again. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I believe that. And it's the client's openness to it that's important. And they're
yes.
trusting you, so they are open.
Well, it's always a dance between the practitioner and the client. And of course, we need self-hypnosis after the sessions to repeat the process. So the vagus nerve accepts the new idea, it's safe. When the vagus nerve says, well, hey, this is a great new idea, I allow it, then magic happens. But if the physical body says we are scared, we won't allow the new process, nothing
Nothing
happens.
happens.
And in most often we need repetition by the self-hypnosis to support the process.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. I think that's wonderful because it starts off way more change in their life than the cancer.
Yes, yes. And when it's solved, it's solved. I mean, the body is intelligent enough to recreate.
Yeah,
And but when we test, and maybe this is important for the audience, I mean, imagine that in 50% of the cases the cancer actually has purpose. How crazy is that? When the initial sensitizing event, the root cause of the cancer, um, is still active and the cancer is already from the beginning present, then the emotion needs to be solved. And the reason why the physical body is growing the cancer, then it still needs to be solved. But of
Yeah.
course, you have to test, and the superconscious mind knows what's going on and knows where to guide you in the process. That's why
Yeah.
we use the Simpson Protocol. It's like vacuum cleaning in the left corner, in the right corner, in the opposite corner, and after an hour, the room is clean.
How about telling us a little bit about Ultra?
Well, I remember it was back in, I think in 2017 or 2018, I can't
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah,
But
218.
you asked me to do some research and experimental sessions on Ultra, which back in the day you said, well, let's call it the guides of the guides. And at the end of my session, I always do some experimental. And I ask my clients, well, is this safe to connect to Ultra? And is it worthwhile, etc., beneficial, benevolent? And every single time the answer was yes. So it made me curious because most people said, well, it feels so loving and caring. Some said, well, it feels like um, it's connecting to my grandparents,
Oh,
as the superconscious is more my parents. Anyway, it's all personal, I guess, but every single client had a positive experience. So I called a friend of mine, Tanya, and she's really good in speaking out loud in trance, channeling, which we call. And I asked her, well, I I'm experimenting on a certain topic. Would you like to come over and let's see what we find out? So it was a beautiful Friday afternoon in May. I still can remember. And really beautiful. We were sitting in the garden back under a tree. I was sitting in the shadow, and she went in trance. And I asked some normal questions about is everything okay with Ultra, and should we share it to our students, etc. And everything was positive. But at a certain moment, I asked Ultra, "Well, who are you?" Because yeah, I'd like to understand. And her voice shifted the tone, and she said, "You know well enough who I am." I said, "Well, I don't think so, because otherwise I wouldn't have asked the question." And she replied to me, said, "You know who I am. Your son, your son will paint a picture, and in that or on that picture, your son will make or create the earth, the stars, and because you look at that picture, you will know who I am." I said, "Okay, thank you so much." And then the voice eased down, and she went home. Back then, my children were still at elementary school.
yeah.
So at Friday, the school closed a little bit earlier as the other days. So 2:30, I took my bicycle and I went to the school to pick up my kids. I arrived there, and my youngest, Ruben, my son, he ran towards me, and in his hands, he had a paper, which was a drawing. And he drew the Earth, the stars, Saturn also with a ring. And the teacher had pinned some notes on the painting, which was the Genesis story. On the first day, God created blah, blah, blah. On the second day, God created day and night. And I just stood there and I thought, well, did I just speak to God half an hour ago? I mean, and I started crying. I was so emotional. And my son said, Daddy, don't you like the drawing? Is it not good enough? I said, No, Ruben, it's fantastic. Thank you so much. It's a beautiful gift for me. That's why I'm so emotional. And I must say, yeah, when I was back home, I immediately texted Tanya. I said, "Look," and I took a picture of the drawing. I said, "Look, an hour ago you just channeled the information, and here it is." And I must say that day really changed something. Um, I
Wow.
guess you can call it trust. And yeah, it's maybe silly, but since that day, something shifted inside of me, and it's easier for me to accept there are strange stuff, strange things going on. Um, but it made it more acceptable and more at a personal level. It was not outside of me, it was inside,
Yeah, I
which
think
was
that's wonderful. Yeah, I love the story.
yeah.
I think it's awesome.
Well, people should read the book.
Yeah, I guess people should read the book. There's so much gold in it from everybody, from practitioners I don't even know the name, and they're all wonderful. And
Yeah,
I love the whole concept. I think there could be many more.
oh, every single person, practitioner or trainer has hundreds, maybe thousands of stories.
Yeah. I think the idea is wonderful. We're trying to get the word out to clients, to people who want to take SP maybe further. Anybody.
Yeah.
It's so wonderful that they're all just writing about it from their point of view. I know you've had great experiences with birthing, SP birthing.
Hmm.
Could you maybe talk a little bit about that?
Well, of course we can help the pregnant lady and we can help the baby. I mean, it's been there for ages, like hypnobirthing and helping people with hypnosis. But what we do goes not just one step further, but goes a whole walk further. It's incredible. And what strikes me is our society. I mean, if you turn on the news, it's all negative, war here, war there, politicians who hate the other side. I mean, it's crazy. So, in a normal session, you created a slight piece of the Simpson Protocol is where you test people from the beginning of this lifetime how worthwhile they feel, how safe they feel on a scale from 1 out of 10. And this is also possible with the little babies. So we can actually test if the little baby is worthwhile, is feeling secure, is having a safe and secure attachment style. And most often, the pregnant mother is, or the mother to be, is also nervous and has no idea she is doing okay. And she can express her love to her baby, and the baby can express the love back to the mom. So it's in two directions. So I thought by myself, why are we so idiots in our society? Why don't we just take care of the pregnant women? Because if that baby is feeling safe and secure and worthwhile in the womb already, those kids grow up and they, at a certain moment, they will become our adults in our society.
Yeah,
And those kids who already feel worthwhile, who don't have a sense of, I'm not good enough, or I lack energy, or I lack this or that, it's already settled. those people will eventually grow up and take a place in our society. Yeah, some will become our politicians, some will be our bakers and employees and colleagues and friends. But I think on the long run, this is probably the best thing we can do is to help the pregnant ladies. So hopefully in a decade or two, we will actually see proof of a new society. And it's
Yeah.
so easy because we can help people, of course, one-on-one, but we can also create audios where people can listen to. I mean, with social media nowadays, it's easy to share good ideas. With platforms like Spotify and YouTube and whatever is out there, it's really easy to share good ideas.
It's a whole round mixture of
Mhm.
things.
Yeah,
An SP practitioner is caring about, they want to help you,
yeah,
and they help themselves while
yeah,
they're doing it. I help myself every time a client goes through and makes something happen. So I don't know, I think it's wonderful. And I think you're wonderful. So I really thank you for explaining that. Is there anything else that you would like to broach?
yeah. I would like to thank you
Oh,
because yeah, there is this kind of um, a first layer where you help people one-on-one, but then you help people and those people start helping other people and then
yes,
they start helping other people and it becomes a ripple effect, a butterfly effect.
yes,
Um, well, thank you for hanging on and believing also in the persons behind the trainers and the persons behind the practitioners and giving advice and sharing knowledge. We can only see this far because we stand on the shoulder of giants.
yep. Like Derek Kine, he was in the forefront. Thanks, Christophe. I'd like to say goodbye now, and we'll end the conversation.
Goodbye.
Bye.